Hey friends, welcome again to my channel. So friends, today's video is all about William Shakespeare's famous play Macbeth. So this video is stuffed with a lot of things including the source of Macbeth, character list of Macbeth, and of course the summary of it. So let's get started. So before start discussing the summary, we have to know a few things about the author and the source of Macbeth. So the writer of Macbeth is William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Shakespeare wrote Macbeth in 1606. So what is the source of Macbeth? Shakespeare's chief source for Macbeth was Holinshed's Chronicles Macbeth, who based his account of Scotland's history and Macbeth's in particular on the Scottram history written in 1527 by Hector Bowes. Now we have to know a few things about the play. So this play Macbeth is set in medieval Scotland and dramatizes concepts such as ambition, power, greed, deception and treachery. This play has 5 acts and a total 28 scenes are there in this play. So our next point is the character list of Macbeth. Now to understand Macbeth properly, we have to know about the characters. So our first character is Macbeth himself. Macbeth is the protagonist. Then we have Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth is Macbeth's wife. Then we have the 3 witches. They are the 3 black midnight hags who plot mischief against Macbeth using charms, spells and prophecies. Then there we have the character of Banquo. He is the honest general of Duncan. And there we have King Duncan himself. He was the king of Scotland. And then there we have Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain. And fiancé is Banquo's son. Then there is Hecate. Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft who helps the 3 witches work their mischief on Macbeth. Then there you have Lennox. He is a Scottish nobleman. The next is Ross. He is a Scottish nobleman. And then there we have the murderers. They are a group of ruffians conscripted by Macbeth to murder Banquo, Fleance, Macduff's wife and children. Then there we have the porter. He is the drunken doorman of Macbeth's castle. The next character is Lord Macduff. He is a Scottish nobleman who kills Macbeth. And Lady Macduff. He is Macduff's wife. So these are the characters of Macbeth. So now let's start discussing the plot briefly. So the play begins with the brief appearance of 3 witches and then it moves to a military camp where the Scottish king Duncan hears the news that his generals Macbeth and Banquo have defeated 2 separate invading armies. One from Ireland led by the rebel Macdonald and one from Norway. Following their pitched battle with these enemy forces, Macbeth and Banquo encounter 3 witches as they cross a moor. The witches prophesy that Macbeth will be made Thane. Thane means a rank of Scottish nobility of Cawdor and eventually king of Scotland. They also prophesy that Macbeth's companion Banquo will beget a line of Scottish kings, although Banquo will never be king himself. Then the witches vanish and Macbeth and Banquo treat their prophecies skeptically until some of King Duncan's men come to thank the 2 generals for their victories in battle and to tell Macbeth he has indeed been named Thane of Cawdor. So you are thinking that what is Thane of Cawdor? So Thane of Cawdor is a title in the peerage of Scotland. This title was given to Macbeth after the previous Thane of Cawdor was captured and executed for treason against King Duncan. So Macbeth is intrigued by the possibility that the remainder of the witches' prophecy that he will be the crowned king might be true, but he is uncertain what to expect. He visits with King Duncan and they plan to dine together at Inverness, Macbeth's castle that night. Inverness was Macbeth's castle. So Macbeth writes ahead to his wife, Lady Macbeth, telling her all that has happened. Lady Macbeth suffers none of her husband's uncertainty. She desires the kingship for him and wants him to murder Duncan in order to obtain it. So when Macbeth arrives at Inverness, she overrides all of her husband's objections and persuades him to kill the king that very night. Then Macbeth and Lady Macbeth plan to get Duncan's 2 chamberlains drunk so that they will black out. The next morning they will blame the murder on the chamberlains. Okay. So while Duncan is asleep, Macbeth stabs him. Despite his doubts and a number of supernatural portents including a vision of a bloody dagger. When Duncan's death is discovered the next morning, Macbeth kills the chamberlains and easily assumes the kingship. Then Duncan's sons Malcolm and Donalbain flee to England and Ireland respectively, fearing that whoever killed Duncan desires their demise as well. So you can say that out of the fear of death, they escaped. Then, fearful of the witch's prophecy that Banquo's heirs will seize the throne, Macbeth hires a group of murderers to kill Banquo and his son Fleance. They ambush Banquo on his way to a royal feast, but they fail to kill Fleance, who escapes into the night. Macbeth becomes furious. As long as Fleance is alive, he fears that his power remains insecure. At the feast that night, Banquo's ghost visits Macbeth. When he sees the ghost, Macbeth raves fearfully, startling his guests, who include most of the great Scottish nobility. Lady Macbeth then tries to neutralize the damage, but Macbeth's kingship incites increasing resistance from his nobles and subjects. Then, frightened from this situation, Macbeth goes to visit the witches in their cavern. There, the witches show him a sequence of demons and spirits who present him with further prophecies. Prophecy number 1. Macbeth must beware of Macduff, who was a Scottish nobleman who opposed Macbeth's accession to the throne. Prophecy number 2. Macbeth is incapable of being harmed by any man born of woman. And prophecy number 3. Macbeth will be safe until Brenham Wood comes to Dunsinane Castle. Then Macbeth is relieved and feels secure because he knows that all men are born of woman and that forests cannot move. When he learns that Macduff has fled to England to join Malcolm, Macbeth orders that Macduff Castle be seized and most cruelly that Lady Macduff and her children must be murdered. So when the news of his family's execution reaches Macduff in England, he is stricken with grief and vows revenge. Prince Malcolm, Dunsin's son, has succeeded in raising an army in England, and Macduff joins him as he rides to Scotland to challenge Macbeth's forces. The invasion has the support of the Scottish nobles, who are appalled and frightened by Macbeth's tyrannical and murderous behavior. Lady Macbeth, meanwhile, becomes plagued with fits of sleepwalking, in which she bemoans what she believes to be bloodstains on her hands. Before Macbeth's opponents arrive, Macbeth receives news that she has killed herself, causing him to sink into a deep and pessimistic despair. Nevertheless, Macbeth awaits the English and fortifies Dunsinane, to which he seems to have withdrawn in order to defend himself, certain that the witch's prophecies guarantee his invincibility. He is struck numb with fear, however, when he learns that the English army is advancing on Dunsinane, shielded with bows cut from Brenham Wood. Thus the battle begins, and in the battle, Macbeth hews violently, but the English forces gradually overwhelm his army and castle. In the battlefield, Macbeth encounters the vengeful Macduff, who declares that he was not of woman born, but was instead untimely ripped from his mother's womb. So what we now call a birth by cesarean section. Okay. So though he realizes that he is doomed, Macbeth continues to fight until Macduff kills and beheads him. Then Malcolm, now the King of Scotland, declares his benevolent intentions for the country and invites all to see him crowned at Scone. Thus, from the above story, you can say that Macbeth's most serious mistake was allowing his ambition to overcome his conscience, which leads him towards his ultimate downfall. So the moral of the story is that we have to beware of being overtly ambitious, because destruction wrought when ambition goes unchecked by moral constraints. So this is it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you like this video, please appreciate me by subscribing my channel, and don't forget to like, share and comment. So bye bye, see you in the next session for sure.